Ow. Ow, 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 ow.
Abora.
Wrong channel.
Damn it.
I would love if imagine if that just became a running gag where every time someone starts to just go
Abora.
Wrong channel.
Abora.
Wrong show.
Wrong network.
Wrong franchise.
Next door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
anyway, what's up, castaways? And welcome to the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. And I felt it was very fitting this evening, provided that we have the return of the Survivor auction. We will talk about it. And me feeling very inspired by Kendra's story. We'll talk about it later. But I felt very inspired, so I got myself a beer. And I have a knife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
The knife is just going to stay over here because it's actually one of my better knives. So she's going to stay right over there. But this is a lovely... lovely... I love it. I support it. I love that we all have knives. But this is a lovely, lovely beer from, shout out to Moto Sonora Brewing Company here in Tucson. This is the Testarossa, which is one of mine and my roommate's favorites. It's raspberry and hibiscus. It's very gay, and I love it.
It's very preppy in here.
Oh, but it's so fucking good. It's so good. Yeah, that's what I'm drinking today.
Hi, my name is Jack. I'm the resident college student, and I also run through the forest every fucking week to get my money. Sometimes it's $80, sometimes it's $900.
I feel that. Feels like such a perfect metaphor for serving.
Serving?
Well, when I was a server, serving.
I'm Esme. I am drinking some strawberry seltzer. And yeah. And I'm feeling a little stabby. There's rice all over my desk.
God damn it, Esme!
Oh, God. This is why they can't leave the three of us alone anywhere by ourselves. God damn it, Esme. Fucking hell, Esme. I'm writing a complaint to HR. HR is me, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stay after on call.
Oh, God. Well, that's a perfect lead into this chaos of a fucking episode of Survivor 45.
I also have a cup mug. And if you want to get your own cup mug, link is in the description, or you can get yours at lanagcreations.etsy.com, where you can get a cup mug, cup socks, or any other variety of cup merch.
And we do ship both domestically and internationally, so there are no excuses.
Not you, Fiji, because that's where they film, right?
I think so. Probably. Anyway, Survivor 45. We're here. We're talking about it. Before we dive in, though, make sure to subscribe because we're here all the time talking about Survivor. Several Survivor franchises at once, actually. But
and check in to see if I still have rice on my desk next week.
You probably will.
Yeah, you'll have it there for months.
Probably. But yes, so we start this episode. We get both groups coming back from Tribal Council. First, obviously, being the first group. And the big issue is Drew is concerned with what he called symbolic victory that Bruce has, sending Sifu home instead of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also see the second group coming in. No one's surprised that Caleb was voted out. But Julie is very concerned about getting a vote from Jake.
And I can't blame her because that's a vote that could send you out the game.
Yeah, all that needed to happen was one other vote, and then it's over.
And so Julie, I love Julie in her conversation with Jake is like, well, what are we going to do now moving forward together? And in confessional, she's like, I'm never working with him again. No.
No.
Never
Nar.
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 Anyway,
We go to next morning. It is day 15 of Survivor 45. The women wake up all together, realizing that they have the majority. And I couldn't tell you the last time that there was a female majority in a merge tribe in the new era of Survivor. So that was lovely for them. But they're like, maybe we should do a girl thing. And of course, it's not going to work.
No.
Immediately.
As soon as I heard that in the preview, I'm like, oh, we're losing a girl.
Well, and we did. Not the one I would have expected, but no. A bunch of the women are like, while this sounds lovely, we already have our pre-existing relationships. And conveniently for both sets of women that we hear from, both being Dee and Mama Julie, as well as Emily, they are both very much so aligned with the same two men, being Austin and Drew.
Yeah.
So they're like, it would be fine if we didn't have those pre-existing relationships, but we have those pre-existing relationships. So,
yeah.
But everyone at this point is really gung-ho on getting out Bruce.
I know Couture is happy about that.
Couture is thrilled about it. Kelly's finally willing to make the move against Bruce because he is increasingly becoming a liability. We'll see how that ends up in this episode specifically. But we then see a boat pull up and they bring out this table with little baskets with everybody's name on it. And obviously we knew what was coming, but they were very confused. Kendra gets the letter to read, and thank God it's Kendra, because Kendra, we're going to talk about it more, but Kendra is slowly becoming my winner pick, I'm going to be honest. But she announces that the Survivor auction is back. Yay! I didn't realize it had been 15 seasons since they did the last auction.
Yeah, season 30.
I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
They said 2015 it was the year, was the...
Yes.
It was season 30, 2015. So it had been 8 years and 15 seasons. So
I was 14.
What?
I was 14 when the last Survivor auction happened.
I was graduating high school when the last Survivor auction happened.
I was going into high school.
Yeah, I was going into high school as well. So yeah, it's been a minute.
I'm the old?
Yes, you old decrepit man.
Again, you're crypt.
How dare you misgender me? But it's fine. No, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry.
I don't give a fuck enough. I really don't care. I get it every day of my life. It's fine. Anyway,
I'll talk to HR.
Yes, you need to have a conversation with HR. Hi, I'm HR.
Just get the editors edit that out, okay?
I'm also the editor. So
okay. The editors will deal with it.
I'm fine, thank you. But we find out that the Survivor auction with a lot of different new twists. The first of which being, as we know everything is now in the new era of Survivor, you have to earn your money for the Survivor auction. So scattered in the forest, there are 40 different bamboo tubes, each of which we find out has a different amount of money. And you got to go run and grab tubes and bring them back. So everyone, it's a mad dash through the jungle. Everyone's finding tubes, this, that, and the third. Bruce, not worried.
Honestly?
He just strolled and got one tube worth $80.
That's all he needs.
I love that he was so confident. It's not all he needs. He needed a little bit more, but we'll talk about it. But I love that he felt so confident in his ability to find these that he's just like, no, I'm going to let the kids run and I'll just do a leisurely stroll through the jungle.
It's kind of just his personality. Like,
he could be extra in every other aspect of Survivor except for this. But to be fair, it did work for him later.
Mm-hmm.
So But I did love they would cut to, Bruce walking by a tube and then someone finding the tube right behind him as he was walking by it. Like that was
Or
my
right in
absolute
front of
favorite
him, he
part.
was there with like a
Or
tube
right
of
in front of him, and
him.
I'm like, I love that. I absolutely adored that. I thought it was so good. But yes, we're going to the auction. We find out the rest of the new twists to the Survivor auction. Obviously, the first being the scramble for cash.
I like that.
Second, I like that twist. I will say overall, I liked this auction. I thought it was, very classic in the way that it was done, but with a lot of new era twists that I'm going to say most of the twists on this season of Survivor 45, I'm really enjoying.
Mhm.
And I'm thrilled about it. I'm like, it really does seem like they're listening in certain capacities of this season.
And the thing is, they do 2 seasons back to back, so they can't listen when another season, like they can't listen.
Well, we said all these things after 41 and 42 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't change anything for 43, 44. And we're like, okay, praying 45 is different. And 45 has been different. And I'm really enjoying 45 so far. But yeah, so Scramble for Cash was the first twist we had. The second twist is Jeff says straight up, right off the bat, there are no advantages that will be offered in this auction. And I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Just make it for food, pure food. Because, well, I mean, so the issue that I kind of have with this is the reason people gamed the auction before is because there were advantages.
Mm-hmm.
So take out the advantages, and then there's no need to game the auction. Yeah. But also,
they did add something else to fill in that gamelessness of it, I think.
And I don't like what they added.
Oh, I do actually. So Jeff says that the third twist is they prepared 15 items for the auction. Jeff would draw a random number between 6 and 15 to determine how many items would go up for bid, with the first 5 items in the auction being guaranteed, and only Jeff would know that number, and the auction would end without warning. And the person with the most unspent money at the close of the auction would then lose their vote at Tribal Council. I like the random number of it all. Yep. I hate the losing your vote.
So what this ends up putting itself into is the first 4 items are fine. You can bid on those if you want. You can lower your money. After that point, you need to burn your money as quickly as possible. And surprise, if you had the most money, you bought the next item. Mm-hmm. So it was less of an auction for 10 rounds, and it was more an auction for 5 rounds. And then the 5 people with the most money buying the next items in sequence. And then it's revealed that there is no additional item and someone gets screwed. And I didn't like that because it essentially cheapened the auction to the back half being get rid of your money.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I wasn't the most thrilled with that specifically because it became predictable. And it was like, oh, is this the last item? Oh, Jake, this isn't the last item. Kelly, this isn't the last item.
Bruce, it is.
Fuck you, Bruce.
And your $80. Nah.
Fuck you, Bruce. Yeah. You know what I have to say
Only
to that?
got 1 tube
Bruce.
and lost the vote.
Deserve.
Anyway. So we go into the auction. The first one, Kendra won, which was a beer. Hello. And a bowl of pretzels. Kelly
I have a bowl
got
of rice, not pretzels, but I'll hold it up.
Good. I don't have any pretzels in my house. I was going to grab pretzels, but I realized I didn't have any. I do have soft pretzels, but they required baking, and I didn't want to go through that.
Just show the box.
So valid.
Yeah, I mean, I had already eaten most of them, so I didn't want to show the box because it's pretty empty. I only bought them a few days ago. Anyway,
we wouldn't have known.
Exactly, but I still whatever.
We'll get the editors to cut that out.
Sure, totally. Item 2 was a bowl of fries and probably a Coke. Like soft drink, probably a Coke. Kelly got that for $500. She should have spent more on it, but it worked in her favor. Emily got the third covered item for $440, and she was like, "Oh my god, no, it's gonna be bat soup." Everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's bat soup, bat soup," and then it turns out to be a charcuterie board and a glass of white wine. And I have never seen a white woman twerk so well in my entire life after finding out about this charcuterie board.
Yeah.
She is dancing. She is screaming. And in this moment, I said, you know what, Emily?
Good on you.
You know what, Emily? My stand card, it's out of my pocket. I'm not giving it to you yet.
You're looking at it in your hand.
I'm looking at it. I'm very contemplative. It's still currently Kendra's. But anything could happen, truly and honestly. But she was very thrilled.
My stand card is I'm reaching into my pocket. I haven't pulled it out yet.
Sure. I was very happy for her. That's what I would have wanted out of all of it.
This is interesting for me because I was like, oh, that would give me the diarrhea because I can't eat gluten or I can't have lactose and gluten. So like, then I'm like, well, I would be just buying something I can't eat and then just giving it to the person I'm next to.
Well, I thought Emily was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And so when she was like, I love salami, I'm like, I guess it's Survivor, so like do whatever you need to do, obviously. But like, if I was a vegetarian, I went on Survivor, I would get all of the nutrients I possibly could.
I'm still gonna eat that bread and that cheese.
But of course.
We'll be a little annoyed the next night.
Right. Now, what I would not have purchased whatsoever because I would have been blowing up the jungle would have been Dee's chocolate milkshake that she spent $900.
No, that I would have been, because I would have been voted out because I would have been like Owen from Total Drama Island shitting my pants.
It would have been everywhere. It would have been everywhere. I would not. I would have been like, can I get some Lactaid first?
I would have just been like, oh no, I just rotted my milkshake in the sand.
Oh no!
It does a very dramatic fall where I roll into the milkshake. It's on my chest. I'm like, no, the milkshake. No,
the milkshake.
My milkshake brings other boys to the yard.
No. Okay, we're moving on from the milkshake.
We don't have Lana here.
I know. Item 5 was recovered. Katura used all of her money and had the option to switch and did not. And Katura bought 2 giant fish eyes that Austin then subsequently bought after Katura didn't eat them.
And bit one.
Ugh.
Good on him.
I'm glad he got more food later, I'm going to be honest. So
we
then go...
The dripping eye in his hand
is an image I would like to get out of my brain forever.
The juice from the eye dripping down his wrist.
Eye juice.
Eye juice.
I hate eye juice.
Eye juice brought to you by Apple.
Logan has fucking lost it. Esme, what did you do to them?
I don't know. It wasn't even that good joke.
Oh, God.
Okay, I have pulled it together. I'm fine. Item number 6 was then the thing that Katura didn't swap for, and Drew spent all his money on a bowl of candy.
Still better than fish eyes.
Wait, was it Drew?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Drew.
Okay.
Drew got
For
the
some
capable-
reason, my brain was like,
Yeah, because he was like, I'm hoping for some carbs. I'm hoping for something. Candy. He
I
goes,
thought
He
for a
was
minute
ready for an
was,
entree, and it was just a bowl
Katora.
of.
Katora. Katora.
Katora.
I did it.
Katora.
I win. We then get a giant slice of pizza, which Austin used the rest of his money on. And then we get into the person with the most buying power is then going to get the next item. So the next item was a toothbrush and toothpaste. Julie bought it because she had the most money. Then
I would have been annoyed with that one slightly. They were like, "Can I get food? Me just eating some toothpaste."
Especially because presumably all of their teeth looked incredibly white. So I'm like, what's the tea here?
And nobody's
Survivor?
really gonna care if your breath stinks. You're on Survivor.
Everything else stinks. I don't know how Jeff has spent 45 seasons of stink. Honestly.
I'm going on Survivor, and I'm like, I've already breathed in my face. I'm voting you out based on how bad your breath smells.
I'm pretty sure that has happened, actually. And so item number 9 was going to be bought by one person and shared with 2 others. So Jake bought, because he had the most money, shocker, bought a whole chocolate cake and invited Julie and Bruce to join on the cake. And then what we find out to be the last item went to Kelly because obviously she had the most money. And I love that Kelly's like, I just want a margarita. And Emily's like, it's going to be a margarita. I know it's going to be a margarita. Cue margarita. And I was like, oh my God.
They said margarita 3 times and it showed up.
Margarita.
And it was just like, yep, give me it. I'm done. I'm good.
I have a beer. It's not a margarita, but it's a beer.
Close enough.
And I guess the number that Jeff pulled was 10. Because then that was it. Bruce loses his vote. And I was like, yes, Bruce doesn't have a vote. Bruce is going to go home. No.
I will say the whole point of this auction was to make it so that the person with the most buying power was always in the riskiest decision. Yep. Bruce never had a chance to buy anything because every single round, I think maybe except for the fisheye round, the bid was always above his head.
The fisheye was 2. The fisheye was 200.
The fisheye the second time was 100.
Yeah.
So
still higher than what he had.
Yeah. So I don't think it worked as a twist because then it came down to, okay, did you find enough money in the forest? Which I don't necessarily like how this auction played out. If you remove the vote twist and just be like, okay, the person with the most amount of money at the end, nothing happens. Like, just
or if you want to have somebody lose a vote, have one of the cover items be that you lose your vote. It's actually something that's not good. Like,
sure.
And it's like we didn't say there wasn't any disadvantages. We said there was no.
True. But we go back.
I would have pissed. Imagine bidding 900 and the vote, you just lose your vote.
Right.
But then that's fun still because it's like you risk it and it's nothing.
So then we go back to camp and Kendra's talking about the significance of getting the beer, talking about the story with her biological dad. And as someone who does not know their biological dad, I related to this story wholeheartedly. I was like, I haven't had that experience of meeting my biological dad, but I love that she had that experience for her. And so I was just like, as if I needed something else to stand Kendra even more than I already did.
I'm very happy for her.
There we go.
And in some situation, I don't know my biological dad. I also don't want to know him, so it's a different situation.
I don't either. So
but like, I'm very happy that like that worked out and that she wants to and that she was able to, like, that she had the opportunity to, and that it was something that she wanted.
Yeah. And
that it worked, and that like they have a good relationship with each other.
Yeah. Definitely. So after the auction, Emily decided to let Drew and then subsequently Austin know about the Brewing All Women's Alliance. They agreed there's no like long-term basis in the alliance. The women are trying to target Bruce and Jake, though. Drew said it would be convenient because everyone wants to get Bruce's idol flushed. And then we see a group later, right before the immunity challenge, with Drew, Austin, Julie, and Katora talking around the water well, talking about potentially working together. And I did love Drew in this moment. Was like, I don't really know Katora. Let me do something to like extend the olive branch. And when Katora asks, you know, who should we vote out tonight? I love this moment from Drew going, well, Katora, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put myself out there here. I support whatever you want to do. And obviously she's like, Bruce.
Which none of them were shocked by.
Nobody is shocked whatsoever.
No.
Bruce!
Bruce?
After everything they've done together in this game, I can't. It doesn't
After
make sense
how aligned and loyal they have been in this
it does not make sense to me that why Katora would want Bruce out here, but okay.
Whatever.
Okay. But let's go to the immunity challenge. It is a classic hold your weight situation where you have to hold up 25% of your pregame weight and hold it up with a rope. And you had to keep your arm extended. Drink every time. Jeff made sure to emphasize you had to keep your arm extended.
You have to keep your armor straight, and I'm like, but I'm not.
I can't do that. I'm always.
Yeah. It's a real problem. For
I would be
me.
like, this is. I would be, like my wrist would still be.
Mm-hmm.
But
how do you think you would do in this challenge?
I would drop immediately. I would have offered for the rice. This is upper body and body weight based challenges are just not anything I would ever be successful in.
Yeah.
And I know that off the bat. So in this scenario where people had to volunteer to sit out in order to get rice for the tribe, I would have been probably the first person volunteering.
And then he stabbed it, and the rice started to pour out of this.
Literally,
bag.
there were like, I think 3 people had volunteered, and they're like, do we need a 4th person? And he goes, and Jeff to Katora goes, well, I'll make it a little bit easier for you, Katora. Knife, boom. And I was like, I kind of like Jeff with a knife. I'm not going to lie to you.
The absolute panic of, oh, okay. Fuck, let's figure this out then.
Okay. But yeah, so they do.
And why did they
do
just
end up
all stood inside and they just let the rice deplete?
Yeah. So we see D, Emily, Katora, and then eventually Drew is the last person to sit out. But yeah, I would not do well in this challenge whatsoever.
Yeah. These only work sometimes.
Agreed.
I could do.
You would slay this, Esme.
I could do maybe okay. I know how much it would. I also know I can lift how much is a quarter of my weight.
Yeah.
It's around 40, 30. So I can definitely and I have some good upper body strength in some areas. So like I could do it. I don't know if I would be able to win, but I can see myself like maybe coming in like 4th or 3rd in this.
Sure.
Or if really needing it, probably being able to push through it and being like, I just need to fucking win this. I'll grab some sand and throw in Bruce's face. Be like, I need to win this.
Right.
All right.
Right. But yeah, so the other 6 are competing. All 6 of the people competing make it through the first 3 stages of the challenge, which I think is incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
It does ultimately come down to Julie and Bruce. And I
My
was like,
team.
come on, olds.
Team.
Work, olds.
You can just call them Team Esme. Because they're my
Work,
team.
olds. You better work, olds. And I mean that in
Olds.
the most respectful way towards Julie. But unfortunately,
And not to Bruce.
not to Bruce. Unfortunately, Julie cannot hold on, and everyone's worst case scenario comes true when Bruce wins immunity.
Yeah, so Bruce just ends up with the safety without power. Like, that's genuinely what just happens during this episode.
Mhm.
And everyone else is now like, fuck. What do we do now?
Jake.
Yeah.
Jake becomes the option with a backup that I didn't think was actually all that serious, I'm going to be honest. But the backup is Kelly because of how much like just everyone wants to work with Kelly. But Jake is talking to Kelly and Emily. Jake realizes, they're trying to make me say a name to trip me up. We're not doing that. Jake goes to try to find an idol.
Does not work.
Drew is like, I don't think I need to vote out Jake tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I want to do that. So he brings together Austin, Dee, Julie, and Emily to talk about voting out Kelly instead. And immediately, at least from my perception, the plan was shut down.
Yeah, that's how it felt to me as well. It felt like it was done.
I was like, oh, okay, so we're just not. That's fine. Like, we're losing Jake. Okay, cool. Like, I fully went into trouble being like, we're losing. I'm losing both of my draft members in back-to-back weeks. Like, that is just what's happening here. But then we go to Tribal, and Tribal is interesting. Bruce has to acknowledge that he is the first person to not have a vote but win immunity, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Anyway, Julie. And then we get this very clumsy, awkward, kind of just like, he even says it, gassing out of Jake. He attempts to like make a pitch, and then he just like, you could tell he just was not all there. He felt mentally checked out.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's the perception that I got. And I don't blame him in that scenario, being in his situation.
Yeah.
It very much felt like it was over for Jake.
Yeah.
It really did. He ended up saying he doesn't want the game to be like dog pile votes, like what happened with Caleb. He said if all the votes end up on him, the person that's at the bottom will just be the next victim of that.
He implies he has an idol.
Which he doesn't.
No, it was just a way to try to scare them.
I was like, oh, this feels very intentional. And I was trying to wonder whether the whole stumbling through his words was intentional. And I don't think the whole thing was. I definitely think the saying he has an idol was intentional. And I do really like that from him. I think that's a really smart play. But yeah, we then go to the vote. Obviously, Bruce doesn't vote. And we find out that Jake plays his shot in the dark.
Ask if you can get Caleb to like blow on it.
Well, it wouldn't have worked anyway because he wasn't safe.
No.
And the votes start coming in, and it's Jake. And I'm like, all right.
Kelly.
But, Kelly.
Okay.
Kelly.
And Kelly's face when the first vote comes up, because at this point she knows that Jake doesn't have a vote, so it had to come from somebody else, like
somebody that she thought she was voting with.
Because Jake and Bruce don't have votes here. So.
And it's two very different emotions, because you see Kelly and then you see Kendra sitting right behind her, and Kelly's just like, God damn it, and Kendra is just like,
not again.
What? Like, I felt everything in me go, what the fuck?
And with a vote of 5-3, Kelly is blindsided in one of the most brutal blindsides I think we've seen in the new era, if not ever.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, man. It's rough. I felt so bad. I'm mad because that was my lesbian winner pick.
I'm upset because I really like Kelly, and she's God, Kelly.
And
she's gone. Just an instant.
And a lot of people brought up and this makes me even more upset that Kelly got eliminated here. Of everybody left in the game at the top 12, so everyone, or even top 13, because I think J Maya got hers too. Every person that made merge got their individual intro and like flashback moment shown, except for Kelly.
Yeah, she's the last one because
yeah,
it was Kelly this not. Yeah, no, it wasn't Kelly this round. It was Kendra this round.
Yeah, so she was the only one that hadn't had, her moment. And it means that the general fan base have absolutely no clue that she's a lesbian. Because I saw several of my friends on Twitter be like, oh my God, I didn't even know she was queer. I was just like, what the fuck, Survivor? Like,
you wouldn't have known unless you like actively searched it out. Which you shouldn't have to. You should be able to get the context and you should be able to learn from just the show. But
you should be able to learn about who these people are in the show that you're watching and not have to do extra research.
Right, like I get not 100% knowing like if the first boot is queer, because like that's a different thing because they're there for a day or something, like that's different. But like somebody who's made it 15 days in, made it to the merge,
is a juror.
A juror had pivotal moments. Like you should get to know more about them as a person.
Her reaction was just like
pure shock,
sadness, depression, like
every emotion.
She had one of the realest exits, I think, too, because she's like, I didn't even grab my torch. Like, I'm so sad.
Yeah. It sucked because obviously she had the fire to keep going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as she said, she just didn't trust her gut.
Yeah.
I hope we see more of her.
I hope so too. I really hope so too. But that is this episode. We go into next episode, and in the trailer, we see Emily talking to Austin coming after Dee. And I'm interested to see how that's going to go because Austin is literally aligned with both Emily and Dee.
Yep.
And then we see
how far they can work in this middle.
Yeah. And then we see another fucking stupid twist where apparently 3 fucking people are losing their vote at Tribal. And I'm like, why?
And maybe Austin won't have to worry about coming for Dee if he loses his vote. So,
yeah.
I just don't understand. Like,
eliminating like 33% of the votes.
This late in, just no.
It is final 9, and you're getting rid of people's votes. What the fuck? Like, so I'm not looking forward to that next week. But it looks like the groups, I think, are Drew, Jake, and Dee in one group, Kendra, Bruce, and Julie in the second group, and then Austin, Katura, and Emily in the third group.
Who do you hope loses? Which 3 do you hope lose their votes?
Bruce.
But I don't want Kendra or Julie to lose their vote. That's the problem.
I feel like Austin losing his vote would be interesting. Especially with the amount.
Well, now he has 2 idols.
Exactly.
Because now that Kelly's been voted out, his amulet becomes a full idol.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, sandwiches rule above all, I guess. Like, that's the thing we've learned from this fucking season.
They really, like, I'm enjoying this season, but I'm just like, why is everything getting twist fucked? Like,
it's like we don't need Jeff should know at this point we don't need constant twists in order to do everything. I don't understand. Like, I expect this out of a Twitter org, not the actual show. But that's where we are.
Woo!
I love this show, this strategic development show that I've always enjoyed.
It's great. It's lovely and it's wonderful. So
we're doing great here.
I am actually really enjoying this season. That's the difficulty, is like I just don't want the whole thing to be twist fucked, but I really enjoy this season. So it's just like, but
Yeah.
On that note, thank you for joining us for this recap of Survivor 45. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, probably a different panel, to talk about episode 9. Final 9.
9.
9. 9. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already, because we really appreciate the support. Hit all the buttons that say you support us. Make sure to follow us on our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You could go follow the 3 of us as well down in the description, and you could go get your merch, including but not limited to Cup Mug. So, Cup Mug. And with all that being said, cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
If anybody wants to come help me pick up Race off my floor, let me know.
No.
I'm good. I'm gonna be honest.
You did that to yourself, darling.
Yeah, that does sound like a skill